This is sealed. Unseal it.
You're
For the
fine.
online meeting.
Recording in progress.
Hi. How's everybody doing today?
How about you, Kelly?
Oh, sorry, what?
How about you?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's kind of icky outside though.
A
I think
little
that's
bit.
everywhere, is it? Or I don't know, in Bloomington, is it icky?
Yeah. You want me to take you to the window?
I'll
It's
just
Actively
trust you, Ed.
raining.
it is actively raining, and it's of course the rain got rid of the fog, so there's that.
That's true. So, we moved last fall, but I still get updates from my kids' old school district, which is Clark Pleasant, like down in Whiteland. And they had like a 2-hour delay this morning because the fog was so bad that they didn't want the bus drivers driving in it. I was like, that must be pretty bad fog.
So it looked like a ton of schools had that this morning. Looked
Oh,
like,
really? Oh, okay. I didn't. That's the only one I paid attention to.
well, I was watching the news. Wish TV had a very thorough outline of who was, because I needed to know. I mean, it was just a ticker on the bottom.
Uh-huh.
I tried not to look at it, but it kept calling my name.
I'm assuming that IU did not have a 2-hour delay for classes.
Nope, maybe should have, because the traffic was ridiculous, but no. No.
Hi, Justin.
Hello, how is everybody?
Doing well, thanks.
Don't mind me. I'm also going to be drinking my lunch.
No worries. I'll be interested to see how many we have today, because I know the previous cohorts have been at a different time. They weren't during, lunch. So I'm curious.
And how many have you had before?
Well, so we started these, I'm trying to think, in September, maybe October timeframe. And so we've had a few of them. And the first few, we maybe had 5 people, average. And then the last one, we had a lot. I'm trying to think, 15 or 16, I think, showed up to the December one. And it
Nice.
looks like we're going to get close today. I mean, we've already got 11, which is pretty good. So
I know I'm here because this time is better.
yeah.
I haven't been able to join previously.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Friends,
Hi, Mary Beth.
hi. So good to see you all.
Good to see you too.
We do have a few new faces. So great. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Beth Abplanelt from Ministry Architects. I'm thrilled to be back with you all for another cohort. Y'all ready for a little fun? Who's already had a couple meetings today, or Zooms or staff meeting? Nobody? Oh, we're getting Ed fresh. A couple of you are going strong at all of this. Love it. All right. Well, welcome to your cohort meeting for the month. We've got a mix of different ministry leaders here, some ordained, some lay, some volunteer, some paid. So we're going to have a little fun here for the next hour. Feel free to do what you got to do. This is very informal. So eat your lunch or multitask and whatnot. Love for you to participate as best you can, but this is for you, and make it what it you get out of it what you want. We'll put it that way. I'd love if we could begin just with quick introductions, because what we're learning is in these meetings, all of us are making new friends within the diocese. And so if you could introduce who you are, what ministry you're involved in, and I want to know if you are traveling this year, is there a place you're looking forward to traveling in 2023? That could be, to city center or to some other part of the diocese. But if you've got some kind of travel, feel free to share. Kelly, can I put you on the spot to begin?
Sure. So I'm Kelly Nixon. I attend St. Timothy's, Indianapolis, which is on the south side. And I'm also on the bishop's staff as the assistant for congregational development, which is an administrative role where I help with multiple things, most recently with some of the youth developments in the diocese. And the place that I'm looking forward to traveling, we have a couple of trips planned as a family, but the one I'm really excited about is we're going to go to Legoland in Florida. I've got two small boys and they love Legos, and we've not done an amusement park with them before. So the fact that it's that plus Legos, like, I'm just so excited to see their little faces. So
That's awesome. All right, Rebecca, good to see you again.
Good to see you. I'm Rebecca Nickel. I'm the rector at St. Timothy's Episcopal Church on the south side. And I am looking forward to spending some time in Europe on my sabbatical.
Fabulous. Dawn.
I am Dawn Black. I'm the campus minister at United Campus Ministries in Terre Haute, Indiana. And I am looking forward to, we're planning a 3-week trip out west. We're going to rent a camper and just go all 5 of us and hopefully not injure each other in the process.
So great. So great. All right, Larry.
Hi, I'm Larry from St. Paul's, Indy. I guess my work with youth now, I worked with youth for like 30 years, and I'm 72 now, so I'm leaving it to the younger folks to deal with that. But I work with the acolytes, and I'm on the Oh, where am I going to go? Well, it's hard for me to go very far because I'm on dialysis, so I have to show up 3 times a week. But we take day trips, overnight trips.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cincinnati, around Chicago, northern Indiana, state parks, those kind of things.
Perfect.
And they're all on the spur of the moment. So I don't think that far ahead.
That's great. That's great. Ed, what about you? Good morning.
Well, good morning. I'm Ed Bird, he, him, his. I'm the chaplain priest for the Episcopal Center, Canterbury House at IU Bloomington. Looking forward to going to Pittsburgh, actually, with family for a show, and might see some other family while we're there.
That's great. Justin.
Hello, I am Justin, he, they. I am from St. Paul's Episcopal in Evansville, Indiana. I wear many hats. So I am the youth and young adults out there. So I deal with high school ministry, middle school ministry, and college ministry. I am also putting together the mission trip, the Diocesan mission trip, and the Diocesan EYE with the amazing Ed Bird. So a lot of hats going on today.
That's great. Don't forget your headphones too. You got those on as well.
So much stuff on my head.
Lori.
Hey, I am at St. Paul's, Indy, with Larry. I am a full-time director of children, youth, and family ministry. So I'm 0 through 18 and parents. Only been in Indy for about a year and a half. And we've been working on all of our 2023 travel plans. So this is such a great question. But I'm excited about a lot. But my most recent excitement is that I'm going to form a conference next week in DC or Alexandria and get to be by myself in a hotel room. So, yay.
So great. All right, let's see. Deb.
Hello, I'm Deb Hall, and I attend St. Francis in Zionsville, and I'm part of Christian Formation. I have a daughter and grandchildren. The family's in Mississippi. I'll travel there sometime, a son out in Colorado.
Fun. So great. Emily, love the shirt.
Thanks. I'm representing Rev Ed today. I'm Emily Elam, she, her, at Bloomington, Indiana, Trinity at Bloomington, doing the children and youth ministry. I'm sure we'll go someplace. We don't have any plans on the books, but we'll go camping or hiking or biking or something. So TBD.
That's awesome. Great. Megan.
Hello, I'm Megan. I'm at Trinity Episcopal in Indianapolis, and I am also the parish admin at St. Francis in Zionsville. And we are very much looking forward to, we just booked a trip up to Gary at Miller Beach with our family, and my folks are coming and my husband's mom is coming, and we're all going to cram into a cottage and just walk down to the beach, and it's going to be awesome.
Fabulous. And Allison.
Hi, sorry, I was a little late. I have my 19-month-old niece here today, so there is also little Einsteins in the background.
I think last time, weren't you in the cohort, like in the church nursery or something?
I was. So my brother and sister-in-law moved here from Texas, but the waiting list for daycare is like fall of 2024. So I have a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old, but now I have a toddler too. Until she gets into daycare, I'm taking care of her. But my for real job is a youth leader at St. Christopher's Episcopal Church. We do 5th through 12th grade, and we do weekly formation classes, monthly service projects, monthly youth group meetings. I'm getting ready to teach confirmation and going on the mission trip with Justin. So
great.
Yeah.
Any travel this year, Allison?
I'm going on a mission trip with Justin.
Mission trip with Justin. That's so great. Yeah. And Father Joel, are you there, able to talk?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. I'll be at my computer here shortly. So Father Joel Munoz, I am the curate at St. Francis in the Fields in Zionsville. And actually this later this spring, I am looking forward to a trip to Peru. I'm going to climb up to Machu Picchu, something I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. And so I think it's going to happen.
Wow. Incredible. Oh, I just love it. All right. Well, welcome, friends. As I said, make yourselves comfortable. And since we've been modifying our time, we've done some of these late afternoon, and now we're doing midday. I just wanted to open us with a prayer from the service at noonday. So the Lord be with you. Almighty Savior, who at noonday called your servant Saint Paul to be an apostle to the Gentiles. We pray you to illuminate the world with the radiance of your glory, that all nations may come and worship you, for you live and reign forever and ever. Amen. All right, friends, so you may have seen when you registered for this that the theme for today's cohort is time management and rhythmic week strategies underneath the umbrella leader wellness. Tell me, well, maybe we'll just do a little show of hands here. Tell me if you have more time than you need to get everything you want accomplished on a given day. Oh, come on, somebody. Right, so this is a chronic problem for anybody, period, hard stop. But especially in ministry leaders. Our team of consultants at Ministry Architects coach ministry leaders across all different areas of the church. And the constant chronic challenge is I don't have enough time to. So there may be a couple things at play there, right? Your job description might be impossible, right? Some churches do have unrealistic expectations of what one human being can do while remaining healthy. We're just going to name that, right? It's the church, it's broken, and that might be the case. If that feels like the case for you, I encourage you to sit down with whoever your supervisor is and try to look at alignment of what that might be going on. The other thing that sometimes happens is that the choices we make impact our ability to harness the time we have effectively. I'm not going to make you raise your hands, but I just wonder if there's anyone in this room that thinks that perhaps sometimes they might not use the time they do have most effectively. I'll go ahead and throw myself under the bus and be perfectly honest, right? Okay. If any of you are familiar with the Enneagram, many youth workers and children's workers in the church are either a 2, which means they're a helper. The 2s are normally guilty of doing whatever is on fire and saving the day, right? They're perhaps more concerned about taking care of others than being strategic and responsible. There are also a lot of 7s in ministry. 7s are the very creative, energetic, gregarious, spontaneous type. We want that in youth ministry. And they're also the group that very often has a diagnosis of ADD or ADHD. They struggle with staying focused and on task. They're so spontaneous that they often deviate from the plan, right? I'm seeing lots of smiles and nods and all of that. Okay, so with this in mind, as we gather for this group today, part of our time is to be a support group to each other. Part of it is to share experiences that you all are having. And since we know all of you are having, at some point in time, challenge with time itself, for our equipping today, sort of professional development for you, we want to dive into time management strategies. And I promise you, this is not going to be like hokey and a waste of your time, okay? But truly some tangible strategies that you can walk away with right now and put into place, or that you can share with your ministry teams or your staff or your spouse, right? These are things that by practicing these and becoming more proficient with these skills, you will actually tend your soul and yourselves and become a healthier leader. So some of leader wellness, there's a whole complex thing, but at the foundation of it all comes time. So I'm going to share with you a variety of tools, and just open these, download them, save them for later. We'll post them up on the website if you're on a phone or something and it's not convenient right now. But one of the concepts I just want to drop in here, these are short little articles. Oh, my link isn't coming through. Hang on. Here we go. Okay. And this first one is, it's called The Hunt for Buried Treasure. And the idea is that you are actually sitting on this treasure of time. So how can we go about being better stewards of our time in order to be more effective church workers? When we think of it that way, we can sort of take on a more responsible posture, a more proactive posture to make a shift in our habits. You're not going to be able to change everything overnight, but you can start with a couple things. And so this article just sort of taps into that. But one of the simplest things is when you struggle with time management, whoever tries to like go find the app that will help me with time management or get the fancy, calendar notepad and color code the whole thing. And now you've spent 5 hours with your fancy pens color coding and we've done nothing towards achieving our goals, right? We've all sort of stepped in this way. So one of the things, the principles that this article names is using Post-it notes before Palm Pilots. This tells you how far back we go with coaching and teaching this advice, right? Before you try to use a fancy, complicated tool to manage your time, start with Post-it notes. I'm going to give y'all the real deal look here at my desk. Okay. Are you ready for this? I have lots of Post-it notes. Okay. I also use Google Drive and a calendar and all of those kinds of things. But even for those of us who have been coaching this and working at this for a long time, Post-it notes are my thing for today. That's how I track it. So keep it simple. If you're overwhelmed, just keep it there. The other 3 concepts that we're going to dig into more. You ready? I'm going to make you say them with me in just a second. Okay. So this is your warning to pay attention to me if you've zoned me out. Frogs, puppies, and balconies. Okay. Ready? Frogs,
Frog.
puppies, and balconies. Okay. There is a book, and I forget who the author is, but it's called Eat That Frog. And the idea is eating a frog is kind of disgusting. Everyone agree? It's not something we really want to do. And if we had our way, we would probably procrastinate on it as much as possible. Inevitably, every day, there is a task that you are responsible for completing that might not be your favorite task, but it is the thing that will move your ministry forward most effectively. So each day, as you start your day, if you make a habit of eating that frog, making a list of what needs to be done, put the hardest thing first. Don't put the chocolate covered strawberry first. You'll gladly do that at 3 p.m. when your energy is waning and you're looking for a run to Starbucks, right? Put the frog first, all slimy and nasty, and knock it out of the way. There is a confidence and a momentum that happens when you do that at the start of your day that then perpetuates a cycle of productivity. So whatever your most tedious thing is, do it first, knock it out, and you will increase your motivation and therefore increase your capacity to accomplish more later in the day. This is totally playing into psychological motivation. I might have a link issue on that one. Others having trouble opening it? Ah, great, thank you. Let's try now. Better? Okay, great. All right, so frogs. Who wants to tell us the trick about frogs? Just repeat what they heard.
Frogs suck. They're horrible, they're nasty, but sometimes you gotta get the nasty stuff out of the way first.
So good. You're right. All right, you passed the test. Nice job. Okay, next up, I'm going to check my sharings before I make the same mistake twice.
Although frog legs are good, so.
So good. All right, let's see how this one goes. This one is puppies. You're in? Okay. So when it comes to, you're not in. One second. I apologize for my technical difficulties. Okay, this is going to be good. Such suspense today. All right, puppies. Great. Okay, so to-do lists and task lists all feel very burdensome and heavy, and inevitably in all of our roles, we have things that we're responsible to do. Rather than thinking of these as tasks, try to use the idea of puppies. It's just a little more playful. It's kind of even childlike. But again, playing into your psychological side of compliance, cooperation, when something is more joyful, more playful, or pleasurable, then you are more likely to want to do it. Okay, so silly little shift in terminology. But there's some rules to puppies that we've put in front of you. Puppies off a leash always run into the boss's office. So if a puppy is something, the next move that needs to be done, and you have a puppy, and that puppy is off a leash and you are not taking responsibility for it, inevitably, your rector is going to hear about it from one of your parents who never got the registration form. It's off a leash, running to the rector's office, and now you've got two problems. You now have, your puppies have multiplied. You have the original puppy of the registration form that you never did. Ah, that frog. And you now have a puppy of a cranky rector who's annoyed that sermon writing has been interrupted by a youth ministry registration form. Ah, this is just not great, okay? All of this comes back to time management and how we can claim that, and as a result, delight the parent that got it on time, delight the rector who can trust on us to manage the details of our ministry, and you've avoided 2 hard conversations and a whole bunch of emotional energy that would have sucked up the whole rest of that day, right? So perhaps I'm being a little dramatic, but also I don't think I am, right? I think a lot of us have had these experiences where if we had been able to be more intentional about our own time management and our puppies, we'd be in a different situation. Unattended puppies make a big mess. If you pretend that you just don't want to do it and you ignore it, they're going to keep pooping all over your office and the church. Pooping, peeing, all of it, scratching things. A hidden puppy is soon forgotten. If you try to, sorry, I've messed this up. Yes. So if you talk about something, but we don't actually bring it to light, name it, give it an owner, then that hiding puppy will waste our time. You've had a bunch of conversation, you've wasted your own time, somebody else's time, without actually assigning it to somebody. Here's another great one. Don't accept a puppy on the run. How many of you on a Sunday morning have had somebody come up to you? Oh my gosh, look at her. Rebecca. People are leaving the sanctuary. You're shanking hands. Oh, Rebecca, can you do this? I had this idea. Would you start a Bible study? Would you do not accept those puppies? You have control over the puppies you accept for the most part. If somebody approaches you, like in that scenario, they're so excited about something, it's their puppy to take the next move. Have them be responsible for emailing you the details of how they would like that to move forward. You don't need to take it on and burden your load just because. Also, you're going to forget what they said from the time you shake their hand and get to the parish hall and have coffee and then go preach again or teach that confirmation class and get back to your office. So if it's something, have them write it down for you, email it to you. They should keep the puppy because they are motivated. They are excited about it until they can more appropriately send it to you. So there are a number of other ones there. I encourage you to take a look at this. This is up on my wall above my desk here so that I remember it myself on a regular basis. And it is kind of fun if you share this with your teammates, because then they can start understanding the idea of puppies, especially like at the end of a staff meeting. How many times have y'all had great ideas, but nobody was assigned ownership of a puppy? So that idea that we all got excited about never moved forward because it was never given an owner. So take a look at this, see if you can adopt it, if you can share it with your folks. This is another really great strategy for being intentional about your tasks and what needs to happen next. And it's kind of fun. A few of you have already heard this because of your work on the renovation team. I'm just going to call out Kelly here. Kelly, you've been aware of puppies, this concept, for a little while. What influence has it had on you and your work since you've learned about this concept?
I feel like it's helped things not slip through the cracks. So as you mentioned, like if an idea comes up in a meeting and no one takes ownership of it, then it just sort of falls flat. But I feel like as things have come up, it's been very intentional of, okay, clearly this is a puppy. Clearly this is something we're excited about. We have to assign somebody to it. There has to be an owner. I think that's really helped a lot with just making sure things don't fall through, that we talk about or brainstorm.
I love it. So good. Anyone else excited to have puppies instead of task lists? Yeah, good. I'm glad. Okay, here's our next one. Remember I said frogs, puppies, balconies. Everyone raise your hand if your church has a balcony in it. Anybody? Nope. No balconies in Indianapolis, just one? Okay, St. Christopher's? Okay. Maybe a few. All right. Well, a balcony is a space high above the rest of the worshiping sanctuary space. When you are sitting up high above, you have a different vantage point of the entire sanctuary. Think of yourself being in that balcony, or if you don't have one, pretend, okay? When you're in the balcony, you are looking at the whole ministry for which you're responsible for. When we do that, we can be more intentional about the priorities that will make the entire ministry better, okay? If we are just down in the second pew, narrowed in, we might be missing other things around us. So it's important when we think about time to periodically go up to the balcony, get out of doing ministry, and step back and look at our ministry holistically, okay? So big difference between doing ministry. Give me some examples of doing ministry. I'll give you one. Writing my confirmation lesson plan for confirmation class. Getting out the material for the Christmas pageant. Writing my sermon for Sunday. Those are all working in ministry. Working on ministry is making a list of volunteers to call and contact in the next 2 weeks. Looking at our budget and making sure we're on alignment with spending. Looking at my priority task list for accomplishing strategic goals. Working on ministry versus working in ministry, okay? Balcony link doesn't work either. My goodness, I am 0 for 10. I'm just gonna share my screen, y'all. Okay, so balcony time is this fun concept of time designated for working on your ministry, not in your ministry. I'll just read this section down here. This time allows you to regularly recalibrate your priorities and see what's coming up ahead. During this time, you will determine what needs attention in your upcoming week and what will be intentionally procrastinated. We'll talk about that in a second. You're going to love it. This is also a great time to dream and pray. Balcony time is only fruitful when you are without distractions. Turn off your notifications, close the email, put your phone on airplane mode. Plan to be committed to not answering calls, responding to emails, or working on anything urgent. Okay. This box on the left tells you kind of how to balcony time. So find and protect this time and space. This is a great time to review and update your task list, your puppy list. Don't do the things, just make the list. Okay, that will help you identify your priorities. Is it going to be more important for me to call those volunteers to recruit partners in my ministry? Or it's going to be more important for me to put away the crafts from yesterday's Sunday school lesson? That pile of stuff might be really bothering you, but are the crafts going to make or break our ministry and move it forward? Or is that something I can tackle later in the week, but now I can recruit a volunteer? See how we start being just a little bit more intentional about what's getting done? You're still going to do both, but balcony time helps us be more intentional about when it all fits in. All right, so prioritize and plan when to tackle unpleasant tasks. The frogs are back. Ribbit, ribbit. Put them first, top of your day, get it done with. It will motivate you to do more. Then you are creating your weekly task list of things that need to happen right now. And you make your today's task list. Post-it notes. I love it. As soon as it's done, I can crumple it up, put it away. Right? I got one here next that says Cohort, Diocese of Indy. That'll be my next one. Okay. Organize your emails. Okay. You're not responding to them. You're just organizing them as they come in. Once you've seen them, if you don't need to respond, just file them. Oh, here's another one for the EYU trip next summer. Do I need to answer that parent or is it just some chatter? Great. File it over here. So you're going through them, making sure that you're being a good communicator, responding in a timely manner, but also you're not dictating your day around the next inbox message that pops in, okay? Because just because somebody has a question does not mean it needs to derail your whole day. They do need a response in a timely manner. Then you're looking at next week's schedule, a week ahead. And you're making sure you carve out your balcony time for next week. When you use balcony time effectively, you will shift from a very like dandelion in the wind at the mercy of, whatever direction it's going to blow, to a much more intentional leader being proactive about how your time is spent and what it's focused on. When you do that, when we talk about leader wellness, you go from a place of feeling victimized and hard done to a place of feeling grounded, purposeful, and in control. When you learn to make that shift, and you'll never get it right. I have my Rhythmic week right above the computer over here. I aim for it every week, and there's always going to be something that's wonky. But the more we shift to this, the more we feel less chaotic, a little bit more at peace. There's more space for joy. All of those things come as a byproduct of good balcony time. Raise your hand if you're really excited for your first balcony time. Dawn gets the gold sticker for her hand just shot up over there. She's taking copious notes too. Dawn, there's a chance that sometime today I'll figure out these links and I'll be able to send all of this back out to you, but chances are it'll take me till tomorrow. Not doing so hot there. All right, so frogs, puppies. Oh, we didn't review what a puppy is. Rebecca, can you give me just a talk back to us and tell us what a puppy is, what you've heard?
Sure. What I heard was, instead of thinking about tasks that have to be accomplished, to shift our thinking and think of that event or activity as a puppy.
Yeah.
We need to do our puppies, keep them on the leash so that they don't invade others' territory and create puddles. And
You said it way more dignified than I did earlier.
they wet on the carpet or the floor. And that having a change of attitude and image can bring less tension and more willingness.
So great. Okay. Frogs, puppies, balconies. All right, Emily, what did you hear about balconies?
It gives us a different vantage point. So taking a step back out of the weeds of the doing to more of the planning and longer term goals. I resonated very hard on the things that need priority. Can I show you my winter star costumes that are not put away yet because I have to get ready for Sunday school on Sunday? I was like, those will go back later. They'll just be very messy until after Sunday.
That's perfect. That might be just when they need to show up.
That's right.
Okay. All right. I want to share with you the Rhythmic week. This is now putting all of those together. Ready for it? I'm going to share my screen and see if I have better luck that way. All right. Do you see Mary Beth's Rhythmic week? Okay, great. A rhythmic week is a pattern in which we structure how we spend our time. I suspect some of you have this already happening in your lives without even realizing it. Some of you may have Friday off. That's your off day. Hopefully you actually use it as such. Maybe it's Monday. Maybe on Tuesday mornings, you know you have a standing staff meeting, right? So that's a time that you know you're doing meetings. When we're intentional about our rhythmic week, we start to protect our time so that we can be more efficient with it, healthy about it. And it also gives us permission to rest when it's time to rest, because we know that the work is accounted for at another time. It helps us understand when we're available to other people, so that if somebody says, hey, let's get together next week for coffee, you're not going to say, sure, when is good for you? You're going to say, great, I'm available at these times. You are a proactive time manager that is going to protect his or her space so that they can, you can be more productive and satisfied. So let's take a look at this rhythmic week. We start by building our time off. When is your Sabbath? Okay. My Sabbath is on Saturday. So each day is divided into 3 chunks of time: morning, afternoon, and evening. Because clearly ministry is not a 9-to-5 job. That's a joke, right? So Saturday, all day though, is my Sabbath. All right. I'm also going to put in some additional time off, at least 3 or 4 additional boxes. So for me right now, in my role that I'm doing, I take evenings completely off. Okay, so I'm building it up, doing the things that protect me and keep me healthy first, and then we work into our jobs. Just so you know, on the top of this, when I send it out, are these steps for how to fit all of these in. Okay. The third spot we put in, and by off, I mean like family time also is how they name it here. The next time we put in here is balcony time. All right. When am I going to stop and look at my week? When am I going to organize my inbox and know what's going on? For me right now, when I do that is on Friday afternoons. I can review what I've done all week. I can make sure that I think ahead to next week, what's coming up. Do I need to confirm any appointments? Do I need to send any Zoom links? Do I need to remind any volunteers of what's coming up? So I use my balcony time Friday afternoon. You could do it on Wednesday morning, Sunday evening. It doesn't matter when you fit it in, but it's a space that I hold. I tend not to have a ton of meetings or appointments Friday afternoons. People are kind of tired. So it's a space that I also know the rhythm of the people around me. I don't have to work hard to protect it from other things. I like Friday because then I also feel very orderly and calm. Everything's under control before I go into my Sabbath and my weekend. So it helps me there. Then we're going to name our blocks for work. So, or excuse me, regular meetings is the next thing. Okay, so when do we have regular meetings? Mine are Wednesday morning and Monday afternoon are my standing meetings. Since Wednesday morning is a meeting time, I tend to have trouble to have a bunch of meetings and then like clear writing time or processing time. So for me, after my Wednesday afternoon, what I'll put here is what I call flex time. Okay, so flex time is when I could meet somebody for coffee or have a Zoom meeting about a project. So if you want to get together with me, I'm going to immediately look at next Wednesday afternoon and see what space I've got available. So I start to know when those are. Same thing with Monday mornings. I make that flex time. Okay. Now, inevitably, every week there are things that need to get done. Your curriculum for next Sunday needs to be set out for the volunteers in the classroom. Every week you've got to meet with the student council to review upcoming events. Like whatever those tasks are, you've got to create your agenda for that meeting. You've got to, you know what they are. So we're going to fill in 4 get stuff done blocks, GSD. There are other ways you could name that. We're going to call it get stuff done. Okay. Then you plug them in. GSD, GSD, whoops, got some color coding going on here. GSD, GSD. So Thursdays, I just crank stuff out, get stuff done. Friday morning is GSD time. And then my third flex box I forgot to put in is right there. Okay. Then you've got some flex box and you've got some other space too that you can name for meetings, time off, or flex. When we create a rhythmic week schedule, we start to claim ownership of our time so that we can be more intentional with it. So what I would love for you to do right now on whatever paper you have in front of you, you can make it beautiful later. I'll send you this template with all my other links. But right now, find something to write on. This is just for you. You don't have to share. And I want you to make 8 columns, 7 for the days, and then 1 for the time, morning, afternoon, or evening. Here, would it help if I share the screen again so you can see it? Draw your own rhythmic week right now in front of you. And we're going to take a couple minutes to take an initial draft at what your rhythmic week might look like. All right, you're a couple minutes in. I just want to see with a thumbs up vote, is it going really well for you? Are you having kind of a hard time, or is this a total train wreck and you need a lesson after class? Okay, great. All right, I'm gonna stop you there. Who'd like to share how that experience was for them? Is anyone like totally geeking out and this is revolutionary for them? Or are others thinking, I know this and I just have to do it?
I have never thought of this before. I like it. I'm having trouble trying to figure out when my balcony time would be though.
Yeah.
But
And
I can
it
see how
really
if you
needs
don't
to
have
be-
it, then you're just kind of jumbled, trying to
Totally.
kind of cram stuff in.
Yep. But when we don't have it, the time we do have is going to be less effective or certainly less strategically driven. You'll be busy whether you do balcony time or not, but will you be effective? And that's the trick. All right, Dawn, you were going to say something.
I was just gonna say, I think it's like really helpful in that I always feel like overwhelmed and like I have so much to do and I'm always thinking about it and everything. And if I were to put this in place, one, I see all the time that I do have off.
Yes.
And if I were to intentionally protect that time, then I would feel a lot less overwhelmed.
Yes. And you know you've worked hard during your time, and the church doesn't need to dominate your mind and your thoughts and your energy on that time off, right? So then you come back more rested, healthier leader. I'm glad you mentioned that, Don, because I forgot to go back to the idea of intentional procrastination. Very often we struggle with guilt or shame or frustration if we procrastinate on something. But inevitably, there is more on our task list than we can realistically accomplish, even for those of us who are the best time managers out there. During your balcony time, when you make your list, you're going to come up with an idea of something that isn't urgent, but needs to happen and needs to be on there. So perhaps that's fixing the bulletin boards. We want them to be nice and to be attractive, but they're probably not the top priority driving your ministry's success. So put it on your list during your balcony time, and you've got your master task list way, way long. But in that balcony time, each week you look at it and pull out the most urgent, necessary priorities that you need to do right now this week. Keep the rest on the master task list and intentionally procrastinate on it until the next balcony time. Put that list away and have your list for this week. And you might even, like my work blocks are lettered, A, B, C, D. I just do them by day. When I put a priority on my list, I say which ones are the A days. I just do A first. And I say, these are the ones that I want to do on Monday. And if I don't get to them, then on Tuesday morning, I'm going to eat that frog first when I sit down and get myself organized. And then I put if I didn't finish an A, it gets a B instead. And then I add whatever B tasks need to happen that day. Inevitably, we need more volunteers, but it's the last thing we do to pick up the phone and call and recruit them. We're going to go clean up that pile of stuff, or we're going to make a flyer for the thing instead. And then suddenly Friday's rolled around. We have more to do because we never recruited a volunteer to partner with us in ministry. So put that as your frog, do it first. Suddenly by Friday, you're going to have a volunteer helping you, and you'll have less on your C, D, and E list, right? Keep it simple. Think Post-it notes. Don't overcomplicate your list, because then you're just wasting your balcony time, color coding, and everything else, right? One master list, one to-do list for this week for your immediate puppies. All right? Something is going to come up. It always does. You're going to have a retreat that affects your schedule, or a vacation that affects your schedule. As soon as you can recalibrate and get back on a rhythmic schedule, the better off you will be and your ministry. I want to share with you a quick video by our ministry architect founder, Mark DeVries. He had more hair back then when he did this video, but the points of it are still true. It's a 4.5-minute video, and then we will close with a prayer. But I think it'll be helpful for you to have an image for really the stewardship of your time, treating it as a spiritual practice. How do we manage this in a way that is faithful, responsible, and life-giving to us? Here we go. Y'all see that okay? Thumbs up.
Mark, if you go to most search committees or most parents committees that are wrestling with the notion of how to revive, how to build, how to start their youth group, you're going to sooner or later come very early in the conversation to, we got to get the right person. Or which vendor has the right program that we can model our program on, or what church around here is a program that we can emulate. And you've got a different take on what is the essence of sustainable youth ministry. And you talk about systems. Tell us more about that.
Well, we start with this metaphor of the dance floor. Now, my oldest daughter, Debbie, is a dancer. She's now getting her master's in dance. Yes, you can do that. And so let me tell a parable. Again, a story that never happened. So Debbie's doing her debut performance at Carnegie Hall, and she's spinning and leaping. And I got to tell you, when I watch this kid dance, it's magic. I just love it. And she's, the crowd is spellbound. She's doing her thing, and she, technically she's fabulous. Artistically, she's out of this world. And she comes to this sort of the climax of her performance, and she's leaping, and it's like she's suspended in the air, like it's like Michael Jordan in a tutu. I mean, just airtime everywhere. And the crowd is they're inhaling all together just to see, how she's going to come down, how she's going to land. And when she lands, you hear this crack. And the boards underneath her crack, and she falls down, and you can see her twisted leg. There's a bone sticking out, and she's writhing. And the master of ceremonies comes out, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we are so sorry that sometimes these young dancers, they just make mistakes, and we're going to get this mess cleaned up here soon, and we'll, as a matter of fact, we got a new dancer for you right now. Let's just welcome the new," right? Most people in ministry can name a friend who is no longer dancing in ministry, not because they didn't have the skill or the technique or the gifts, but because they got broken on the dance floor. See, when young people are trained, or old people are trained to do ministry, they're trained in technique, or they're trained in running programs and trained in all of the things that they do. But often they're not trained in building the dance floor, just broadly building the system beneath them, creating infrastructure, things like having an accurate list of the students and their parents in your program. Sadly, most people in youth ministry would see that as a distraction, or having a calendar of events, or having a curriculum plan, or a design for recruiting volunteers, or a plan for following up with visitors, having goals and benchmarks, having values or a mission statement. All of that stuff is a part of the dance floor that often never gets tended to because we're too busy running the ministry. And so when we talk about the systems approach, we're saying rather than building a program on a person or a program of a certain kind, we're saying let's build this ministry on a solid dance floor on which a moderately gifted leader can thrive. So when we're doing searches for churches, we tend to say the kind of person you want is not the superstar, because the superstar will come in and get a quick following, build everything around him or herself, inflate the ministry in a year or two, and then as soon as that person leaves, the air goes out and the thing falls apart like a house of cards. As opposed to building a system, creating infrastructure so that long-term the ministry is sustainable beyond the life of that individual or that particular program.
All right, folks. So as we've talked about leader wellness and time management, I want you to remember that your management of time is a treasure that God has given you. And as you live into your work and practice new time management strategies, my hope is that you will also understand you are building a dance floor for which you can dance on, and your volunteers and ministry can thrive sustainably. Being the superstar, being all things to all people, rescuing the urgent task of the day, those are not healthy, not sustainable things. But being a responsible time manager is a system that will be part of a constellation that builds that steady dance floor. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. And if you loved this, or this feels really hard for you, reach back out, because Ministry Architects has lots of coaches that could partner with you on what this would look like in your particular context, to help you develop some of these skills so that you can feel more fulfilled and be more effective leaders in the church. Guide us waking, O Lord, and guard us sleeping, that awake we may watch with Christ, and asleep we may rest in peace. Amen. Next cohort is on February 9th, focused on small church ministry. We've got a lot of small churches around Indianapolis, and we want to make sure you all understand the strategies unique to that. Big church folks, it would still be great for you to be there and learn about the unique differences based on the size of your congregation. All right, blessings on your head. Have fun with your balcony time.
Thank
Bye,
you, Mary
y'all.
Beth.